Hey guys, how you doing? This is Kaylana, the Blessed Driver here, and I am back. And I wanted to talk to you guys about something that's been on my heart, and even something that I've been going through for a while. And it's basically about rebranding and restructuring, your image, and also just basically your brand of who you are, and how you put your product or your service, or even maybe like things that you do out on social media, or even just branding period. I this is how God has been dealing with me. And I had a one of my subscribers. I was doing a live video a while ago, and she made a comment that really made me think, and I'm so glad that she said that. And she said, well, have you ever thought about doing some videos about sharing your faith with others? Because she's like, I know you mentioned it sometimes, but just sharing your faith and just talking like maybe a little bit more about, how God is dealing with you, or how God is helping something like that, she said. So I was like, yeah, you're right. And so, but I'm not going to make this video into like being preachy, but I just kind of like want to kind of focus on just restructuring and just rebranding yourself and your life. And like I said, I will like have more than one YouTube channel and stuff. And there's one I was working on, but as I've been praying about it, I'm realizing that that's really not who I am. It's not my brand. It's not something that I know is who is me. And so definitely I don't want to create content or create another image of myself just for the sake of getting some likes, some subscribes, and trying to monetize that, but it's not me. You feel me? And so I see a lot of people doing things for entertainment, but that's not really who they are, because not that they don't believe in it, but it's really not who they are. And the best way that you can discover what you like and what you're gifted at is doing some me time. But for me, I spend time with God. I pray. I talk to him. I ask him questions, and he'll tell me either directly, or he'll give me a dream, or I might go somewhere and somebody might give me a prophecy, or a friend of mine. Because the majority, about 90%, 95% of the people that I interact with are believers, or they're very prophetic people. And so they'll give me a word or something, and this is what God is showing me about you, or whatever. And so I'll take that into prayer, and so I take things into consideration. But now, at least now, at the time of this recording, like I'm 40 years old, and I've been looking back lately. I'm like, man, what have I accomplished? What have I done? And this morning when I went to church, it was so good. And the pastor said something. He mentioned Moses, and he was just talking about how Moses was looking at all his imperfections, and how he could not be used by God, but God wanted him despite of his issues. And the pastor was basically saying that you have what people need. And he was saying that despite of the little things that you have, even if it's not much, take what you have and utilize it to be a blessing to others, which is one of the reasons why my channel is called The Blessed Driver. And I'm not just talking about me being blessed. I'm talking about you guys being blessed, and, I just been thinking about like, man, like, I'm 40, and I've been thinking about some of the things that I know I could have done better at. I know some things that I shouldn't have did that I did, some things that I didn't do that I should have did, woulda, coulda, shoulda, and I have been thinking, man, like, I have a son, and it's like, I thank God that he is a smart child. And I'm not trying to like glorify him or whatever, but because I know the things I struggle with in school, and this is like a moment. And so like, I was smart, I had honors and stuff, like honors classes or whatever, but I wasn't like so smart to the point where like it was like Goodwill Hunting. Like my son is like Goodwill Hunting smart almost. And so he's taking AP physics, and I'm like, how do you do that? But some of the things that I couldn't do, he's able to do. And so I'm like, man, but that's a blessing for me, because if he would have ever asked me to help him with his math homework, I would not have been able to do it. But it's just, I'm looking at some of these things and how, I have struggled, and I had struggled, and not because it was always circumstantial, but some of the things that I realized that I made mistakes on, or should have made better choices. And sometimes we make wrong choices or foolish decisions, and it actually affects our children. Excuse me. And so I want to make sure that he's always on top of his game. He wants to work, he wants to have a job, he does good in high school and stuff, but it's like, I want to make sure that he's not going to be where I am. You feel me? And so even with just trying to restructure, regroup, just redo things, that's one of the reasons why I don't always vlog. I would love to just take you guys on some of these trips that I do with food delivery, or if I'm out doing rideshare. I don't do rideshare because I can't, but is just doing some of these other things. And I would love to do that because it's entertaining for some people. But I just don't have the time. I just don't feel like editing and doing all this extra stuff. I just don't. You know what I mean? But maybe if I travel or do some other stuff, then yeah. But I just want to, right now, it's just about revamping and just rebranding some things. And when you do that, like when you know what your brand is and when you know what you're called to do and when you know how you're called to help people, people will see you differently. And especially because they know that there's something that you have that they need. And it may not necessarily be anything tangible. It just may be a word, it just may be some advice. And some of you guys might be really good at designing, and I know that I'm pretty good at doing websites and stuff, but that's not my focus. And so could I do it? Yeah, but I know how competitive market it is. Even doing photography, I know how a competitive market is. But even if the market is oversaturated, if God brought you to it, he'll definitely give you the business and the equipment and whatever it is that you need to be able to be successful. But even some stuff that I had like on Instagram and just some stuff, I mean, it wasn't that, nothing like that, but it's just some stuff I'm restructuring. I took off, like I deleted. I'm just taking some things away, and not to have people to think a certain way about me, but just realizing that some stuff is just doesn't matter. Some stuff is just kind of petty. Some stuff, it's like people can't always take you serious. Not that I'm trying to get them to do that, but you know what I'm saying? And so I want to make sure that while I'm here on this earth, because, I know we're going to get judged for everything we do, everything that we say, how we treat people, everything. And I know that, like I told you, I think I told you guys this once, I'm not sure, that God gave me a dream years ago, and he showed me being judged. I was in a courtroom and he was behind on the other side, and there were people, it's a long story, basically there were people that were being judged for the things that they did, but they were getting judged for what they didn't do. And I heard somebody in the line was saying, hey, Kate, did you write your books? Did you do your films? Did you da? And a lot of the things that God told me to do, I didn't do it. And I was almost close to being next in line, and I knew I was getting ready to be judged for that. So with that being said, even with this whole network, with this channel, this Blessed Driver stuff, even though it's like app-based gig stuff, entrepreneur stuff, I want to make sure that I don't stay there. And what concerned me the most, and it's no shade to anybody out there that is watching this video, what concerned me the most is that I can post something about maybe Instacart or Uber Eats or Amazon and say, hey, this is what happened to me last week. The manager called me a name, or bad times with Instacart, or I'm having issues with Postmates, whatever. If it's something negative per se, or if it's something that will appear to be like attract drama or gossip or something, I'm realizing that people are drawn to those types of videos. And it's not just this, it's everywhere. And I think that's kind of like human nature, because we want to see, okay, what happened? That's natural, because I'd be wanting to know what happens sometimes with people. But if I post something positive or something encouraging or to help people with a business, whatever, I mean, I get as many views. And so that shows me the mindset of some people, is that some people care more about hot topics, like Wendy Williams, instead of, trying to look at entrepreneurship like Oprah. You know what I mean? And so I don't want to be one of like a Wendy Williams. You feel me? And I'm just revamping some things, and even just, I'm not going to go into detail, just revamping some things and just refocusing and regrouping, which is another reason why I don't really do a whole lot of videos. And so, and just letting God deal with my heart, if you understand. So if you're in a place right now where you feel like, okay, I was interested in doing this, I used to do this, but now I'm starting to feel like I want to do something else, take that time for yourself and make sure you journal it. Like, you can buy a journal at Dollar Tree for like $1 and start writing things down. I journal all the time, as far as like ideas and stuff. And there's things that I started to do. I realized that's not me. That's not my brand. That's not who I am, and I know that's not me. And so even though I started to build it, I started to work on it, I had to leave it alone. Sometimes you might end up investing your money in stuff. You might end up investing your time, your energy in stuff, all to come to find out that's not your purpose. That's not what you're supposed to be doing, or it may not have been as lucrative as you thought. So now you're like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do now? And for me, as a believer, like, I take things to God. I tell the Lord everything. I have a relationship with Christ. So it's like, I take it to him. I tell him. And if there's something that I'm struggling with, is there something that I'm dealing with in my heart, or if it's my finances, whatever, I tell God. I tell him everything. And when I tell him what's going on, and when my heart is right, when your heart's got to be right. When your heart's right, like he fixes it. He'll fix it, or he'll show me what I need to do, because he said he'll give you the power to get wealth. So if you know that you're in that place and it's time to regroup, you don't have to tell everybody, say, hey, you know what, I'm taking time out for myself. And sometimes people are wondering, how come you're not posting on Instagram? How come you're not posting on Facebook? How come you're not texting? How come, all that's none of everybody's business. Sometimes you just got to do you. You have to do what's right for you, what's good for your family, what's you. Sometimes you just got to do you. And not try to make, not try to spread yourself so thin to where you are discombobulated with all these great ideas and you can't pick which one that you want. And now you're trying to do more than one and become frustrated and overwhelmed because you're trying to do too many things, wearing too many hats, you see? So what I'm doing is I'm actually starting to remove some stuff. Even stuff that I thought was going to be so great or so lucrative or so wonderful, whatever, I have to regroup. And that's okay. If you find yourself having to start over, it's okay. But don't just stay there. Don't be like, oh man, looking at the Joneses, like, look what they're doing. Don't worry about the Joneses. The Joneses have what they do. Focus on you. So with that being said, it's time for a lot of people like Sierra. I'm not condoning the song, but she made a song called Level Up. And so minus the lyrics, but she said some stuff in kind of the beginning that was kind of dope, and it's that season it's to come up, and it's cool. And even not condoning this, I'm not supporting this, but I'm just saying that Cardi B did I saw like on a stream or something, like it popped up on like my Instagram feed or whatever, about a video. She said something like, you can't buy love. And I guess she's going through something. People are accusing her of buying, like the record company being buying people, whatever. And she was saying like, you can't buy people. She's like, you can, but you can't, you know what I mean? And she was just saying like, I don't do that. She goes, either people mess with you or they don't. And she's like, if you got to buy people, that's fake. That's not real. They don't care about you. They don't love you. And that's true. And if you think about that, a lot of people do that. Like they feel like if they purchase things and try to get people to follow them, because I've been there. Not on this channel. I've never purchased any likes or comments, none of that. But what I'm saying? It's like when you get comfortable with who you are, none of those things matter. And so part of branding yourself, or even revamping and rebranding yourself, that includes having a different mindset about you. Not about what people think about you, but about you. So with that being said, I hope that has blessed you guys. And, it's that season, it's that time for a lot of people, even myself, to come up and to just redo some things and have a different mindset about stuff and not look at how other people are doing stuff. It's great to get an inspiration, but focus on what you're supposed to be doing. And when it's not working for you, it's because you keep trying to do it just like them and it ain't working out for you. So anyway, hope this helped you guys. Level up. God bless you.